All right, so this is our first video. This is Mr. Ingerson, and we're gonna kind of counterintuitively start in the lower right-hand corner with communism because that was what we did last week. It was the last lesson, so I want to make sure we really get some good practice in with communism for tomorrow's test. So first off, with communism, the founders of communism were Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So go ahead and jot them down: Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. They lived in the 19th century or the 1800s. You should almost have all those down. And they were concerned about how in free market capitalist societies, some people were really rich and were becoming rich really quickly, and yet other people were left behind and were really poor. That made them write two books in the 19th century, and those two books are the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital, or Das Kapital. Uh, both of them were published in German first, because those are, Das Kapital in particular is obviously German. And both of these books talked about how capitalism, or free market capitalism, was unfair because it basically allowed some people to become really wealthy while some people weren't. At least it seemed that way back in the 19th century. Since then, capitalism has been the major economic system that's allowed all people to rise. Although, yes, some people have become really wealthy, but even poor people in capitalist countries are rich by comparison. As a result of what it looked like in the 19th century, 150 years ago, they claimed that capitalism was unjust. So that comes from the word injustice, and injustice means that it was just unfair. It's unfair to create an economic system where people are not equal in terms of how much money they make. Again, in the America is a great example of the fact that yes, we have people who are billionaires, but even poor people in the United States are wealthy by comparison when you look at countries in, say, Africa, or even a lot of countries in Latin America. Yes, there are people who get really rich, but it's also easier to become rich in a free market society. Marx and Engels claimed that what would happen is that the poor would continue to get poorer, the rich would continue to get richer, and eventually the working people would revolt. There would be a violent revolution. They would kill the rich people, called the bourgeoisie, and then they would redistribute wealth. So the redistribution of wealth equally would create a utopia, and this utopia we would know as communism. So that's the basic ideas of communism: that capitalism is unfair, it's unjust or unjust, that there's a need for redistribution of wealth. You take from the rich, give to the poor, and if you do that equally, you'll create this like utopia. Awesome. First lesson done. Go take the practices and do the practice quiz. Thank you.